Happy Wednesday, everybody. This is the Coffee Milk Hour. I'm Jerry.
I'm Puffy. You threw me for a loop because usually I do the intro.
Yeah, but I decided to skip the whole, let me prepare.
There was no let prepare.
Okay.
I said, you said, are you ready?
Ready.
I said, I have, and I'm quoting myself here, I have never been more ready for an episode, and you can quote me on that quote of myself.
Right here, quoted on the Coffee Milk Hour in the first 18 seconds
Until
of
you
this
find
episode.
out in 24 to 48 hours that I plagiarized it from somebody. Oh, shit!
I didn't want to talk about this.
I really wanted to talk about this.
It had been talked about already.
But things are just getting better and better as the days go on, and
It has been kind of a snowball.
I feel like it has to be talked about now.
Okay, what are we talking about?
Let me clarify this. We are going to be mentioning the Melania Trump speech. We're going to be talking about it.
By mentioning, you mean talk about for like 20 minutes?
No, we're going to talk about it a little bit, but I don't think it's the overall tone of this episode. I think it's like everything that's happened afterwards, plus a few other things. Let's just call this a Donald Trump episode.
Donald Trump?
Yes, it's another Trump episode, folks.
Of course.
And I'm very excited about it.
Speaking of which, John Oliver back on this Sunday.
Oh, finally! Are you sure? I thought he said the 29th.
No, 24th.
That's fantastic. It's good to have good journalism back.
Sure.
Anyway,
It's funny.
we're going to talk about, we're going to start by talking about this speech.
Okay, we should probably let people know what happened, even though I did a coffee minute on this the other day.
And I feel like everybody's been hearing about it in the news. So Melania Trump, at the RNC, I think it was day 1 or day 2 of the RNC, went up and gave her, her endorsement speech, her speech for her husband, Donald Trump. Here's the thing. It was a 9-minute speech, and, credit where credit is due, it was a good speech. However, there were 22 of 26 words in a segment that Melania talks about that were very obviously lifted from Michelle Obama's speech about her husband Barack Obama back in 2012, 2008?
2008.
2008, the first
DNC.
one. Yes, thank you. The 2008 DNC. So that caused a lot of stirring up. And at first we were like, okay, whatever, shit happens. I'm sure it's going to be haha, funny. I can't wait to see which writer gets fired for this. But then we started doing some digging. And we realized several things that needed to be discussed because the articles are out there. These are all sourced, legitimate websites where you can find this information. But it seems like, to me, nobody's put this together yet.
Okay, so let's run through the timeline. Melania Trump, first day of the RNC, has her speech. And everyone says her speech goes well. Until later that night or the next day, it is discovered that she did lift from Miss Obama's speech in 2008.
Right, and you can't sit here and deny that she didn't. It's not similarities,
right.
All right?
It's
not that similar. It's
Language
the same
is
thing.
the same. So the Trump campaign denies it.
Straight out.
They just say, no, she didn't.
She didn't do this.
This isn't plagiarism. It's not the same. But it's the same. Now, I understand, you can argue that, hey, it's I think it was a 9-minute speech.
I actually said that while you were out.
Yeah, and 26 words of it. But, you still lifted a phrase and you didn't attribute it. So, as I said in the coffee minute, the correct thing to do is
acknowledge wrongdoing.
Yeah, I was inspired by Miss Obama's words, so I decided to, reflect her values in my own speech. But no, the Trump campaign just said, no, not true.
Yep, we didn't do it.
So furthermore, Paul Manafort, who I think is now the campaign manager.
Yeah, he's the third campaign manager.
Yeah. He came out, and CNN reported on this. Donald Trump campaign chair Paul Manafort is blaming Hillary Clinton for pushing forward the news story that parts of Melania Trump's convention speech on Monday night were seemingly lifted from Michelle Obama's convention speech in 2008. Quote, "There's a political tint to this whole issue," Manafort said. "Certainly, we've noted the Clinton camp was the first to get it out there and trying to say there was something untoward about the speech Melania Trump gave. It's just another example, as far as we're concerned, that when Hillary Clinton is threatened by a female, the first thing she does is try to destroy the person," end quote. So my first argument is, of course the Clinton campaign's going to pick up on it. You're running a presidential election. Of course the opposing campaign is going to make a note about it, Paul Manafort.
It's like going to the news and being like, they called me names, and it's not fair because it's true.
What do you think? It'd be like, oh, some guy in Ohio figured it out, and he's just targeting the campaign. No! Clinton campaign figured it out, and that's who has the ability to put it out in the news.
Now,
okay, so they did that.
Now, Paul, I don't know if you've done this job before or if you've been doing this job too long. I know you're the third campaign manager for Donald Trump. Your job's got to suck at this point, but bro, get used to it because you got between now and November to deal with all the heat that's coming from the other side.
But like,
it's part of the
isn't
job.
it a little bit insulting? And I know that this is politics and hardball, but to come out and say when Hillary Clinton is threatened by a female, the first thing she tries to do is destroy the person. Like, what about being like, yeah, she plagiarized that, is trying to destroy the person?
Well, no, I mean, credit where credit's due. That is character assassination.
But is it though?
It is.
Is it character assassination?
Because you're saying the connections are there. You're saying, oh, she plagiarized this. She's obviously, can't think for herself. Or if she didn't look at the speech before she gave it, that means she doesn't give two shit about the politics game that she's in.
But it's an election. You're going to be the potential first lady of the country. You're fair game.
Yeah, no, I agree.
When you make a public statement.
Yeah.
It bothered me a little bit that they came out and tried to blame the Clinton campaign for the controversy. No. The fact that there was plagiarized speech or there was some form of plagiarism within her speech is the reason the controversy exists. If the Clinton campaign didn't push it, someone in the media would have figured it out and it would have been news anyway.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And then the Clinton campaign would have commented on it and we'd talk about it anyway. But whatever. None of that matters, right? That's just political.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the boxing match.
No big deal. But wait a minute.
Oh boy,
what happened next?
Well, which thing are we going to next?
So it comes out that maybe Melania Trump wrote the whole speech.
Oh my God, this is so exciting! Maybe. So on the night before she went and gave the speech, she did an interview with Matt Lauer. On the private jet shortly before her speech, which was on Monday night, and she said, and I quote, and you can find this in the articles related to it. What are you pointing at?
It's from the LA Times.
I read once over it, and that's all because I wrote it, and with as little help as possible. End quote. This is Melania Trump, the woman who the whole campaign is saying plagiarized nothing, saying that she wrote the speech herself.
Which would make sense, right? Because everybody was thinking, oh, well, if this is plagiarism, they should fire somebody.
Yeah, they should fire the person responsible for not sourcing.
They're not going to fire Melania Trump, right? Who said that she wrote most of the speech. So now, if anyone is responsible, it should fall on Melania Trump here. Because she said that she wrote the speech with as little help as possible. And I don't know what that means. Did someone just kind of edit it for spelling? Did someone suggest content? We don't know at this point.
Right. It's a little confusing to me because right here when you say that and then it comes out as plagiarism, you can easily save face if you're the person who wrote this speech, who's also under the lamp for it or under the spotlight for it, to just come out and say, look, I share a lot of the values and I didn't attribute it to that person and I should have. It was hindsight is 20/20. My bad. Like, you can save yourself from this. You're Melania Trump. A lot of people like you because they've seen you naked.
Right. What?
She had a nude modeling career.
Oh, well, good for you, Trump. She's number 3, right?
Yeah.
Family values.
Right.
So let's recap. Melania Trump writes a speech with very little help that she delivers to the RNC, in which it is discovered a portion has been lifted from Michelle Obama's speech. The Trump campaign denies that any plagiarism has existed and has not fired anybody over it because there's nothing to fire anybody for.
Right. According to them. That is for the first 36 hours. So up to the 36th hour, this is what they are sticking by. There's no plagiarism, period.
A little untraditional and very typical of Trump, but nothing terribly surprising.
Right. Until the news broke today.
Until today. A speechwriter working for Donald Trump's company identified herself Wednesday as the person responsible for plagiarism in Melania Trump's convention speech and offered her resignation. Let's get this straight.
We can't make this up.
The Trump campaign has denied, and as far as I know, is still denying, that any plagiarism existed within Melania Trump's speech, which Melania Trump said that she wrote with, quote, very little help. But here we have a speechwriter on her own stepping forward, asking for her offering her resignation to the Trump campaign because she says she's responsible for the plagiarism. So someone within the campaign that's denying the plagiarism is offering her resignation for plagiarizing the speech. What the fuck? I'm pretty sure there still hasn't been a denial. And so we've got the letter. We've got the letter from Miss Meredith McIver, who was the in-house staff writer at the Trump Organization and a longtime friend and admirer of the Trump family.
Ooh. Let me.
Jordan says.
And she writes, In working with Melania Trump on her recent First Lady speech, we discussed many people who inspired her and her messages she wanted to share with the American people. A person she has always liked is Michelle Obama. Over the phone, she read me some passages from Miss Obama's speech as examples. I wrote them down and later included some of the phrasing in the draft that ultimately became the final speech. I did not check Miss Obama's speeches. This was my mistake, and I feel terrible for the chaos I have caused Melania and the Trumps, as well as to Mrs. Obama. No harm was meant. Yesterday, I offered my resignation to Mr. Trump and the Trump family, but they rejected it. Mr. Trump told me that people make innocent mistakes and that we learn and grow from these experiences. I asked to put out this statement because I did not like seeing the way this was distracting from Mr. Trump's historic campaign for president and Melania's beautiful message and presentation. I apologize for the confusion and hysteria my mistakes have caused. Today, more than ever, I am honored to work for such a great family. I personally admire the way Mr. Trump has handled this situation, and I am grateful for his understanding. Signed, Meredith MacGyver, the woman who didn't write the speech that Melania wrote, but wrote enough of it to plagiarize it from Michelle Obama without sourcing her.
And even though the campaign is rejecting the fact that any plagiarism has occurred and denying it and just saying that this is the Clinton campaign blowing things up, Mr. Trump, quote, told me that people make innocent mistakes and that we learn and grow from these experiences. So Trump admits to the staffer that there was a mistake made, innocent though it may be. He does not accept her resignation, yet still denies that any plagiarism exists. It's such a fucking shit show.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, don't get me wrong, because there are going to be people out there like, who cares, it's just a speech. And it is just a speech.
Right.
In any other situation, it would have been handled where they would probably just say, we should have attributed the original speaker, we should have attributed their words to them, and you just move on. But what you've got here is just a cycle of serial lies. You've got the campaign saying it didn't happen. You've got Melania Trump saying that she wrote most of the speech with very little help. That's brought into question when this staffer says that she wrote enough of the speech to plagiarize, and that it was lifted from Miss Obama's speech. And now the Trump campaign still isn't acknowledging that this plagiarism happened. And on top of it, Politics 101, you don't want to admire the enemy's current first lady. Like, it's just not, like, good for you. Good for you, Melania Trump, because I think that's good, like, in the long run.
Yeah, no,
good
definitely.
for you, Melania Trump, for admiring Michelle Obama. But in American politics, it's a ballsy move to be like, yeah, I'm going to take Miss Obama's word for her. She's the first lady right now. She's pretty cool. Vote Obama. Like, so it's just insane to me that, like, this needs to be put together. If Trump and his campaign, and Paul Manafort seems like a shady character. I'll call that into question here.
Wow.
But like, if Trump and his campaign are willing to lie about 22 out of 26 words, which should not even be a big deal.
No, you just apologize and move forward.
What the fuck else are you going to lie about? And are you going to be able to lie well? Because if you can't lie about this, if you can't keep your staffer, like, at some point, shouldn't have someone gone to the staff and be like, listen, do not submit a letter of resignation. We do not need that right now. We do not need that getting into the press after everything we've said that will totally blow our cover. Meredith.
Here's the thing, man, and this is why I felt like this needed to be discussed on this level, because, like, everybody's counter arguments are one of two things. Oh, it's just lying Hillary trying to bash the campaign, or, oh, it's just a speech, it shouldn't be a big deal. But here's the thing, man. You're not talking about the speech. Like, we're not discussing the wrongdoing of the plagiarism. We're discussing the lack of integrity in being so devout in denying what is so obviously in front of us from the potential first lady of the potential president of the United States, and what he and his campaign staff has gone through to deny it in the face of a staffer acknowledging that something happened. This is your potential president for the Republican Party. This is the person who you are putting up against, quote, lying Hillary, who's lying about arguably one of the most menial things from this election cycle so far.
But, and the thing is, right, like, at least Clinton, like, I don't want to defend, like, dirty politicians, but, like, Clinton is in two scandals right now, neither of which I think are really should be central to this election, because I think they've been blown way out of proportion. But at least when Clinton goes before a House committee for 11 hours and testifies to the FBI director, she's out there in front of the American public to watch, and, like, even if she is lying, we don't know if she's intentionally lying or just, like, doesn't fully know how to phrase, like it's like, does she know what she's talking about? Like, is she aware? Like, and that becomes the question. It's like, is there intent on Hillary Clinton's part to cause harm to, like, I don't think she wanted to kill 4 people from Benghazi, and I don't think that she wanted to send top secret information. I don't think she wanted to do those things.
Here's the thing.
Like, so it's a judgment call. But here, this is intent.
Well, this is obviously intent. As far as the Hillary Clinton thing goes, that whole argument is kind of a shoot yourself in the foot argument, like a catch-22 deal, because you're either arguing that she did do it with intent, which is criminal activity, or she was too dumb to realize she didn't know what she was doing, and that's your potential president of the United States.
No one's saying that these candidates are perfect. The issue, though, is
far from
there's a difference between a lapse in judgment, which I honestly think Clinton is guilty of more than anything else. I think if you want to call into question something about Hillary Clinton, you can call in a lack of judgment, or she hasn't exercised great judgment in a few very specific situations over a lengthy career.
40 plus years.
Okay. Trump has intentionally lied. Since Trump declared for presidency, he's pissed a lot of people off. He's lied, contradicted himself, among other things, and in a very short amount of time has proven that he's not only willing to lie, he's willing to tell a lie confidently, and he doesn't care that you know he's lying.
Right.
So like, and obviously I'm on like the Democratic side here, but like, if you can't handle a few words in a speech not being properly attributed to the source, when all you needed to do was say, oh, sorry, yep, Michelle Obama did say that in 2008. We probably should have, given her attribution. We don't feel like this is a big mistake, so we're not going to fire our staffer, but in the future, we do intend to be more vigilant about these types of errors. Everybody can accept that, because Melania Trump is not Donald Trump, so we're not going to hold her to the same standards that we're going to hold the president to. She is essentially a figurehead, and she's supposed to be a symbol of, progress and everything the first lady is supposed to be, a symbol of, progression and unity. And she delivers that speech. So we're not going to be critical of Melania Trump if she used a few of Michelle Obama's words. All you need to do is just kind of say, hey, our bad, we're going to do better in the future, we're kind of new at this.
And that's fine. Like, there's no winning on this side from Trump's campaign. As soon as that speech hits and you see what you see in there, and again, out of the 9 minutes, it's a very small portion, but it's still a very small portion that wasn't attributed properly. Here's the thing. No matter how you approach the situation to try to resolve it, the Democratic side of the election is going to hit you in one of several ways. If you acknowledge it, they're going to say, well, at least they can acknowledge that they're reflecting Democratic values as opposed to Republican ones, or something along that lines. Like, nothing in here is not going to give them ammo, but like, you're a potential presidential candidate. Like, you are the presidential candidate for the Republican Party, man. Like, your integrity needs to be like through the fucking roof right now. And both sides, Clinton and Trump, and it's aggravating when people are arguing more over the words in the speech itself rather than like the lying that comes with something as little as a speech. You know what I mean? Like, the Republicans immediately started shooting back very shortly after this whole thing came up with like, oh, well, what about all of Obama's plagiarism in his 2008 speeches against that he took from Deval Patrick in Massachusetts? 2 things on that. One, you're absolutely right. That's a fair argument. Except Obama, when he used these words, immediately went back and said, hey, look, I got these words from Deval Patrick, the governor from Massachusetts. I didn't attribute them properly. That was my mistake. Looking back, I could have done a better job at that. But when Deval Patrick, in the same month or in the same election cycle, comes out and says, hey, no, you guys got it twisted. Like, I went to Obama's camp. Like, I shared my language with their writers. So, like, I have nothing bad to say here. Do you see how that's different? Do you see? I don't know how to make it more of a connection for you.
Right,
like Obama did something wrong, but one, the difference between him and Melania Trump is he acknowledged it immediately. 2, he received support from the person that he, quote, plagiarized. So I mean, it's a very different scenario. Your argument doesn't really hold a lot of water there, and it's the best you can come up with in response to there's plagiarism.
And it's just one of those classic things. It's not what you did. It's that you lied about it.
Right, exactly. I care less about what you did and more about the fact that you're willing to lie so heavily about it.
And it's always the little things, though, right? Like, because if, George W. Bush and Dick Cheney lied about there being weapons of mass destruction in order to get us into a war. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
Like, WMD's big thing, war big thing. Those are big lies. If you've got a goal, maybe those are big lies that to you are worth telling, right? This is a speech. This is a speech. You don't need to lie about the speech. You don't. It's not something you need to lie about. So if you think you need to lie about the speech, what the fuck else are you going to lie about? Like, make America great again, and we need an outside candidate, and someone who's not in Washington. Well, what does Washington outsider mean? Someone who understands regular people, someone who's not going to bullshit regular people, someone who's not going to deceive the people, because it's all conspiracy, right? Washington's a big conspiracy, that's why we need an outsider?
Right, someone anti-establishment.
So we're going to vote in a guy who's lying about speeches? Like, on literally day one of the Republican National Convention, on day one, you lied about your wife's speech.
And here's the thing. I know you won't do it, but I'll do it. On the Democratic side, it's the same thing. Well, if Hillary Clinton lied about her emails, what else is she willing to lie about? I understand that argument. You don't need to present it to me. I completely agree with you. For the record, and I'm on the record, I think both major party presidential candidates are fucking garbage. I'm not voting for either of them. Period.
If we're going to talk about it, though, like, you need to define garbage. Like, because if we want to do this, and maybe we do want to do this right now, like, Hillary Clinton has years and years and years of political experience, and, like, you may dislike some things that she stands for, but on the whole, she's been an upright figure. She hasn't been involved in, up until recently, she hasn't been involved in, like, heavy controversies. And the argument I make, like, people want to have her tried for, like, sending maybe 8 emails and having the private server and the Benghazi scandal, which is on the State Department, by the way. Like, Hillary Clinton may have been Secretary of State, but, like, that's also on Obama. That's also on the full State Department. There's a lot more than just Hillary Clinton making decisions there.
You do not need to remind them that it's also on Obama.
I know.
They're just focused on Hillary because she's the one potentially getting into office.
So, but like, you take those scandals, and then, like I referenced before, no one's saying we need to send George W. Bush and Dick Cheney to prison because they got
war crimes.
Because they got 7,000 American soldiers killed for a war over bad information that they shoved down everybody's throat. No one is calling on that. But guess what? That's a lie. That's it. They lied to get America involved in a war that killed 7,000 American soldiers for a war that we did not win. We will not win. We cannot win. For oil, maybe.
Which is weird because it's not even like the major source of oil in the world.
We killed Saddam Hussein, like, but I don't even know what that means anymore.
Oh, yeah, no, we killed him and replaced him with a democracy that as soon as we left collapsed because we weren't there to oversee it. Because our system doesn't work in places where we're not, but we're the world police, so, hey, whatever. But I'm not going to say anything that's going to get me in trouble.
You know, Democrat disclaimer here, but, like, everyone wants to blame Obama for ISIS. Well, guess what? If George W. Bush and the Bush administration didn't lie about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, there wouldn't be a fucking ISIS today. So if you want to go back to the roots, and then someone will blame Bill Clinton. I mean, that's
a huge thing. I love this, man. You know, you can hate on Hillary Clinton all you want. I'll support you. I hate her too. But come on. You can't hate Bubba.
You can't hate on Bill.
You can't hate Bill Clinton.
You can't do it.
We have the best economy under Bill Clinton. We have the longest maritime under Bill Clinton.
We have maybe the best economy under Barack Obama.
I would have to compare those stats.
I think by the numbers, it's pretty close.
But the end of this episode is not going to be about... All right, next week we're going to have an episode on why Puffy thinks that both major party candidates are fucking useless.
I don't think they're useless.
No, I'm not trying to rip you up. I'm not trying. Well, yeah, you're a Democrat. I'm looking from the middle of the fence, and I'm looking at both of them and why they're both completely unqualified to be president. And I could sit here shaking my head, going, "How the fuck did they get the votes?" But I don't. We don't have the time to go into that.
What is unqualified to be president?
We will discuss this. We will absolutely discuss this, just not right now, because I want to get.
What are we going to do in the next 6 minutes?
We're going to talk about Trump not actually running for president.
Oh, I totally forgot about that.
I've been trying to get you to that for the longest. Guys, man, this is the best thing.
Let me write this down.
Here's
candidates are garbage? Question mark.
That should be an exclamation point. Here's the thing. We've talked a lot for about 20 minutes or so.
Exclamation point, question mark?
With a 4-minute buffer about the candidates. But we mostly talked about Melania Trump and the speech and the integrity and all of that. But
Melania.
There was another article I found from multiple sources, this one we pulled from New York Times, about an interesting conversation that happened between a John Kasich aide and Donald Trump Jr., who, by the way, at the fucking RNC, called his father, and I'm quoting here, a blue-collar billionaire, and I've never heard anything more hilarious or absurd in my life.
Can I ask you a quick question? Because we can do this pretty quick, I think. Why the fuck are Trump's kids so involved in the campaign?
I don't know.
Well, what the fuck is going on?
They're not really helping.
Like,
them.
I don't.
They didn't even get to vote.
Are we like trying to elect a mafia here? Like, oh, they are the family, and here's the Godfather.
I don't know, man. I really don't.
It's weird to me. They're like, and the Trump kids met with this potential VP nominee. And it's like, why?
What if he's trying to groom his kids for like members of his cabinet?
Oh my god!
I got some of the best people that you never heard the names of because they're his fucking kids. Okay, we need to move on to this part. This is the part that I've been really excited about.
Okay, so everyone knows that Trump was looking for a VP for a long time.
Yeah.
And at some point, there was a list of like 16 different people.
Right.
5 females. Including John Kasich.
Including who Trump refers to as 1 for 38 Kasich, because the only primary he won was New Hampshire.
Which is true, actually.
And you know...
no, he won Ohio.
Ohio, excuse
His
me.
home
That's
state.
right. That's right. Correct. So here's the thing. I found an article in the New York Times today with the help of my friend Nicole. Thank you for sharing this.
BBKF.
I don't know how to. So we're just. You know what? I'm just going to quote directly from the site. So, according to a Kasich advisor who spoke to New York Times only under the condition that he not be named, Donald Trump Jr. called and wanted to make him an offer on Kasich being vice president, and he said, and he quotes, "Did Kasich have any interest in being the most powerful vice president in history?" When Kasich's advisor asked how this would be the case, Donald Jr. explained that his father's vice president would be in charge of domestic and foreign policy. Then what the advisor asked would Trump be in charge of, and the reply was making America great again. Can we fucking talk? What? Congratulations, a vote for Donald Trump is actually a vote for Mike Pence. Y'all are fucking not paying attention to the right shit.
Who really... Like, we don't know much about Pence, except that he took, like, funding away from HIV and AIDS because we can pray the gay away.
Right, he wants to pray the gay away.
He
believes in conversion camps for the gays, but he puts a fucking Queen song at his fucking speech at the RNC. Fuck you!
Well, you know what? I was reading into that a little bit, and so apparently they used a Queen song earlier in the campaign, and Queen said we don't like that. And
right, they said cease and desist.
But it sounds like the RNC came out pretty strongly and said we paid for the rights for the song. So I'm wondering if the Queen record label has kind of...
Well, Sony said that they weren't contacted by anybody, and that's the interesting thing, because you have the RNC saying, hey, we paid.
And Brian May is a god, Trump, so you leave him alone.
Queen saying...
He's an astrophysicist, god damn it.
Queen saying we never gave anybody permission, and their record label backing that up by saying, we never received contact. How can we sell the rights when we don't get a fucking phone call? So who the fuck did the RNC pay? But that's besides the point. Look, here's the thing. Everybody's talking about how Trump's going to do all of these things to make America great again. Do you understand the impact that statement has of a vice president running foreign and domestic affairs?
That's everything.
It's essentially what Trump does with his businesses. Everybody thinks Trump is the greatest businessman in the world because his name is on everything. But I bet that you probably don't know that Trump is actually in those positions as like a namesake. He's essentially the figurehead. He doesn't run 80% of his own business.
Right, it's the brand.
Right, it's the Trump brand.
And what better way to convince the Republican Party to elect you president than just say, hey, I'm really good at this whole entertainment thing. I'll get you guys the office, and then you just let Mike Pence run it from the background.
Exactly.
It makes sense. Kind of like what they did with George Bush and Dick Cheney.
Right. It's a really smart move when you think about it.
But who the fuck is Mike Pence?
Well, that's the thing. Not a lot of people know about Mike Pence. I think if it was Kasich who got this nod, you would be seeing a very different shift in the GOP. But it's Mike Pence. It's the only guy who essentially agreed to this. Your vice president's going to be running...
Wait a minute. Kasich said no.
Kasich said no.
Kasich said no.
Kasich said no.
Isn't that more impressive? Like, do you want to be the most important man? Like, fuck no. Fuck Trump.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck you, Trump. John Kasich...
And not for nothing.
I don't
was
like
pushing
you, but
for
I respect
him.
you.
Yeah, no, I was pulling for him in the primaries against who he was going up against. Mike Pence is not just he's not a nobody. He's done shit in Indiana, and I'm currently researching that at the moment. I'm not going to give off stats or anything.
He's done shit in Indiana.
You know, I don't want to say like he's done this or hasn't done this without having all the source material.
Last week, Mike Pence went down the road and picked a few blades of grass.
But the two major things you know about Mike Pence is he believes in conversion camps. He cut AIDS funding. He's very, very, very traditional conservative. Okay, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Personally, I don't agree with traditional conservatism because I believe it's fucking 2016. We're all people. Whatever. But this article clearly indicates that Trump doesn't seem to really have a vested interest in running the country. He wants the title.
And it's not the first time that's been alluded to.
Right. But now it's even more evident.
People were like... Trump doesn't really want to be president. And, like, what's he going to do about his businesses once he's president?
Well, if the VP is in charge of foreign and domestic affairs, it gives him time to take care of his shit.
What are America's conflict of interest laws?
There's got to be some.
I don't know, but, like, if you're, like, the head of the largest oil company in the world, and then you run for president, and then you start passing a bunch of, like, oil bills... There's got to be something against that. There's got to be. Well, I mean, we can look into it, and we can do an episode on it. We also are going to be doing an episode on the Electoral College and how your vote doesn't matter. It does matter.
It took weeks for me to get Jerry to agree to this, and I had to source all the material and source the references, but I did, and I'm very excited.
And I've already found the research that disproves one of your points. So I'm looking forward.
One of 30?
Oh, what, 30?
You have a week.
You only have 30?
This
is happening.
You have a week. I have 20 minutes worth of material.
I need 3 weeks to research.
No. This is happening next week.
No, I'm beating the fuck out of you with facts in this episode.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
You're going to have to take a 1 week hiatus from the show because you're going to be so fucking sad after I beat the fuck out of you with facts.
Wow, that's actually strangely aggressive.
You're going to die.
What the
You're going to die.
I'm going to kill you with knowledge.
College. Peace out.
I just wanted to touch on that.
EC for the win.
Very briefly. Remember, a vote for Donald Trump is a vote for Mike Pence.
And correct. Wait, was the T in the P on the campaign logo? Yeah, the T is in the
P. It's literally, yes.
So even though Pence gets to make all the decisions, Trump still gets to fuck Pence in the ass.
Way to take it down to a childish level. I'm proud of you.
I don't know if it was childish. That's kind of like the general consensus on all of the internet.
Well, yeah, and there's also like the trending hashtag. It's like Melania Trump quotes or inspirational Melania Trump quotes. And
I love
it's
that.
Hilarious.
Winter is coming. Melania Trump.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Melania Trump. Again, I'm gonna end the episode from me on this. I don't have no respect for Melania Trump. Her career prior to being a potential first lady is out of, a territory to attack. Everybody does something. The woman is very well educated. I don't know about the education part. She does speak 5 languages. I'll give her that. However, one other thing that bothers me is that she claims that she graduated from a college in her home country for some sort of degree, but she actually dropped out her first year. So that's another thing that was bothering me, and I wanted to touch on that earlier, but I forgot about it. Forget it.
Yeah, she made up her own degree.
Yeah, she did, essentially.
However,
she's not a bad person.
College is free for Americans in Slovenia, though, so if you want to go to Slovenia and receive a quality education, it's free.
Just don't drop out like she did.
Right.
And then lie about it on your website.
Because that is perjury.
It's not perjury.
Perjury!
God damn it. Well, this has been the Coffee Milk Hour. I've had a lot of fun doing this episode. This has been a good time for me.
What are your thoughts on a Roomba?
I'm down for a Roomba. Save that for Friday. Friday Freestyle's coming up. It's the 10th Friday Freestyle?
God, it is the 10th Friday Freestyle.
Holy shit, we've been doing this show for a while, guys.
For our 10th episode, we will be doing strange things.
I will be auctioning off my left foot.
You don't want it. It's covered in hair and it's kind of fat.
Yeah, but in like 10 years, when this show is finally up and running and we're like super, super famous, you're going to have a left foot for one of the co-hosts of the Coffee Milk Hour.
I want the presidency.
You're not going to get the presidency. In another episode of the Coffee Milk Hour, we're going to talk about how a bipartisan ticket will never work in our current bipartisan system.
Because you're hopeless.
I'm not hopeless. I'm realistic. This has been the Coffee Milk Hour. I'm Puffy.
I'm Jerry.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you Friday.
Why do you always get to say bye?
Say bye.
Bye, guys.
Wow.